Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Imagine waking up every morning while the world is still asleep. The streets are quiet, the sky is dark blue, and the air feels calm and peaceful. Most people are still dreaming in their beds, but there is someone out there who is already awake, already moving, already building their future. Today's story is about a simple habit that changed an ordinary life forever, the 5 a.m. rule. This is the story of a young man named Daniel. Daniel lived in a small town where life moved slowly and opportunities felt limited. He was an average person with average dreams, but deep inside his heart he always felt that he was meant for something more. The problem was that his actions never matched his dreams. Every night Daniel promised himself that tomorrow would be different. Tomorrow he would wake up early. Tomorrow he would work harder. Tomorrow he would finally start building the life he wanted. But tomorrow never came. His alarm rang every morning at 7:30, and every morning he pressed the snooze button again and again until it was almost 8. Then he rushed out of bed, half awake, half stressed, and started his day already feeling behind. His days were chaotic. He went to work, did the minimum required, came back home tired, watched random videos on his phone for hours, and then slept late at night. Weeks turned into months. Months turned into years. And slowly Daniel started realizing something painful. His life was not moving forward. It felt like he was running in circles. One evening after work, Daniel was walking home through a quiet park. The sun was setting, and the sky was glowing orange. He sat on an old wooden bench, feeling frustrated and disappointed with himself. That's when he noticed an elderly man sitting nearby. The old man looked calm, focused, and strangely energetic even though his hair was completely white. He was writing something in a small notebook. After a few minutes, the man looked at Daniel and smiled. "You look like someone carrying a heavy mind," the old man said gently. Daniel sighed. "I feel like I'm wasting my life," he admitted. "I have dreams, but I never seem to have the discipline to chase them." The old man closed his notebook slowly. "Tell me," he asked, "what time do you wake up every morning?" Daniel shrugged. "Usually around 8, sometimes later." The old man nodded as if he expected that answer. "Then I already know your problem," he said. Daniel frowned. "You know my problem just from that?" "Yes," the old man replied calmly. "You're waking up too late to meet the best version of yourself." Daniel looked confused. The old man continued. "Success loves silence. It loves focus. It loves discipline. And those things are easiest to find when the world is still asleep." Daniel leaned forward slightly. "What do you mean?" The old man smiled again. "I follow a rule," he said. "The 5 a.m. rule." Daniel laughed softly. "Waking up at 5 a.m. sounds like torture." The old man chuckled. "It only sounds like torture to people who haven't experienced its power." Daniel stayed quiet, curious now. The old man pointed toward the darkening sky. "Every morning at 5 a.m., the world gives you a gift," he explained. 1 or 2 hours of uninterrupted time. No noise, no distractions, no demands. Just you and your goals. Daniel thought about his mornings, rushing, chaos, stress. "Those hours," the old man continued, "are the most powerful hours of the entire day." Daniel asked, "But how can waking up early change someone's life?" The old man looked directly into Daniel's eyes. "Because the way you start your morning decides the direction of your entire day." Daniel sat silently as the words sank in. The old man stood up slowly and placed the notebook in his pocket. "Try it for 30 days, he said. "Wake up at 5 a.m. every morning. Use those hours to build yourself. If nothing changes, you can go back to sleeping late." Daniel hesitated. 30 days? "Yes," the old man replied. "Just 30 days. But you must promise one thing. What is it? No excuses. Daniel nodded slowly. That night, Daniel went home thinking about the conversation. For the first time in a long time, he felt a small spark of motivation. Before going to bed, he set his alarm for 5 a.m. Then he whispered quietly to himself, "Let's see what happens." The next morning the alarm rang in the darkness. 5 a.m. Daniel's eyes opened slowly. His room was quiet and cold. Every part of his body wanted to stay in bed. His mind immediately started creating excuses. Just 5 more minutes. You can start tomorrow. You need more sleep. But then he remembered the old man's words. No excuses. Daniel sat up slowly. It was one of the hardest things he had done in a long time. He walked to the window and looked outside. The streets were empty. The sky was still dark, but there was something peaceful about it. He made a cup of coffee and sat at his small desk. At first he didn't know what to do. So he simply started reading a book about personal growth. The silence felt powerful. No notifications. No messages. No interruptions. Just focus. After reading for 30 minutes, he wrote down a few goals in a notebook. Then he did a short workout. By the time the sun started rising, Daniel felt something strange. He felt proud. For the first time in years, he had started his day with discipline. When he arrived at work that morning, he felt more focused and energetic. The day felt different. But the real challenge came on the second day. When the alarm rang again at 5 a.m., his body protested even louder. It felt painful. His bed felt warmer. His excuses felt stronger. But again he remembered the promise. No excuses. He got up. Day 3 was harder. Day 4 was even harder. By the end of the first week, Daniel felt exhausted. There were moments when he wanted to quit. But something inside him refused to give up. Each morning he followed a simple routine. Wake up at 5 a.m. Exercise. Read. Plan the day. Work on improving his skills. Those quiet hours slowly started changing him. His mind became clearer. His discipline became stronger. His confidence started growing. After 2 weeks, something amazing happened. Waking up at 5 a.m. no longer felt painful. It started feeling natural. The mornings became his favorite part of the day. While everyone else was still sleeping, Daniel was building himself. He started learning new skills online. He improved his communication. He worked on business ideas. His productivity at work increased so much that his boss started noticing. One afternoon his manager called him into the office. "I've noticed a big change in you," the manager said. "You're more focused, more organized, more reliable." Daniel smiled. "Thank you." 3 months later Daniel received a promotion. But the promotion wasn't the biggest change. The biggest change was inside him. He had become a disciplined person. He had become someone who kept promises to himself. One evening Daniel walked through the same park where he had met the old man months ago. He looked around but the old man was nowhere to be seen. Daniel sat on the same bench and thought about everything that had happened. The 5 a.m. rule had not just changed his schedule. It had changed his identity. He realized something powerful. Success doesn't come from one big action. It comes from small consistent habits repeated every day. Waking up early had forced him to take control of his life. It had taught him discipline, focus, and responsibility. From that day forward Daniel protected his mornings like treasure. Because he understood something most people never realize. The early hours of the day belong to those who are brave enough to claim them. Years later Daniel became a successful entrepreneur. People often asked him the same question. What is the secret behind your success? Daniel always gave the same simple answer. It started with waking up at 5 a.m. Most people laughed when they heard that. They expected a complicated strategy or a secret formula. But Daniel knew the truth. Success is rarely complicated. It's built through simple habits done consistently. One morning, many years later, Daniel was walking through the park again when he saw a young man sitting on a bench, looking frustrated and lost. The scene looked strangely familiar. Daniel walked over and sat beside him. "You look like someone carrying a heavy mind," Daniel said gently. The young man sighed. "I feel like I'm wasting my life." Daniel smiled slightly. Then he asked the same question that once changed his life. "What time do you wake up every morning?" And just like that, the lesson of the 5 a.m. rule continued to pass from one person to another. Because discipline is contagious. Motivation spreads. And sometimes the smallest habit can completely transform a person's future. So here's the question for you. What would happen if you woke up at 5 a.m. tomorrow? What could you build with 2 extra hours every day? How much could your life change in 30 days? The truth is that the difference between ordinary people and extraordinary people is often hidden in their daily routines. While most people are sleeping, someone else is preparing to win. While most people are making excuses, someone else is building discipline. While most people are waiting for motivation, someone else is already taking action. The morning is a battlefield. And every day you have a choice. You can hit the snooze button and go back to sleep. Or you can wake up and start building the life you truly want. The 5 a.m. rule is not really about the time. It's about who you become when you choose discipline over comfort. Because every time you wake up early, you are telling yourself something powerful. You are telling yourself that your dreams matter. You are telling yourself that your future is worth the effort. And slowly, day by day, that belief turns into reality. So tonight when you go to bed, think about the life you want to create. Think about the person you want to become. And then ask yourself one simple question. Will tomorrow morning be just another ordinary day? Or the first day of a completely new life? The choice, as always, is yours.